Hi, everyone. It is not Trisha Goyer. It is Jaime Jo Wright, and I'm subbing for Trisha today here at the Avid Christian Readers podcast. And I have with me the illustrious, the amazing, the suspenseful, the intriguing, beautiful. How many more adjectives do I have to come up with? Nancy Mehl.
Talking about someone else, but okay. That's all right.
You know, Nancy, I'll say it was kind of funny when I got the email that Trisha was under the weather and wanted to know if I could stand in and do the podcast with you. And I was like, do they know what happened the last time you and I talked on a podcast?
It did not go well. Yeah, well, it was fun, but
it went well. We just were crying. We were laughing so hard. I'm not sure anyone understood anything we said.
No. I had somebody say that they watched it and it was funny. So
yes,
is that good or not? I don't know.
I think it was our comedic debut.
I think it was.
I think so. So you and I are going on tour this summer with our stand-up comedy.
Yes. I think we'll do well.
I think we will. Well, hopefully this is a treat for everybody at Avid Christian Readers Fiction. I always say it wrong. Avid Christian Fiction Readers? Yes. No. I don't know.
It's people who are avid and read Christian
and they read Christian books. Yes. And now they get to eavesdrop on two authors just yakking it up because Trisha's not here. What mayhem can we start here?
Yeah, it's like Mom is not here, so
I know. Yeah. Where's the cookie jar?
I don't know.
Well, Trisha sent me some questions that she was going to ask you, and I'll read you the first one. It says, "Nancy, welcome."
Thank you, Trisha and Jamie.
Well, before I dive into questions, the book, what's it called? What's it about? Do you know?
I have no idea.
What are we talking about today?
Shattered Sanctuary, I think.
I believe so. Yes.
Well, basically, it's the first book in a new series, and this main character is Erin Delaney. She's an ex-cop that used to work in St. Louis until something tragic happened.
Okay.
And so she left the force and decided to write a book because that's our background, all of us,
right.
We all had. Yeah. So she writes a book that becomes a bestseller. Don't you wish? And it's about, she needed research help. And she wanted to write about an FBI profiler that worked for the BAU, which is the Behavioral Analysis Unit with the FBI. And someone gave her a name, somebody that she could talk to, and it's Kaylee Quinn. And Kaylee Quinn was in a previous series of mine that people seem to really like. So I hooked them back up, and they decide to get together in a cabin in the Smoky Mountains to just kind of talk because Erin's having a hard time processing things. She's not a Christian.
Okay.
And she appreciates the fact that Kaylee doesn't throw religion in her face because Kaylee is a Christian.
Okay. Yeah.
So they get together in this cabin, and wouldn't you know it, people end up dead. What is it? I don't know. Anyway, they find a body.
Okay.
And the local police chief, Adrian Nightingale, which is a name that just popped in my head one day, and I wrote it down. I said, I'm going to use him in a book someday. He comes by knowing that Kaylee is there, and was a profiler. She's not working for the FBI right now. And also he'd read Erin's book, and she had just a really great insight about crime. Okay. And he's a police chief in a small town. So he asks for their help. So they go to the crime scene, and in the meantime, the officers with him dig up more bodies.
Oh.
So, yeah. So from there, they have to try to figure out who is a serial killer.
Yeah.
And how to stop him.
Yeah.
And that's basically the idea of the book. Also, Kaylee and Erin are able to really try to process through what happened to Erin in St. Louis.
Okay. And now this is set mostly in the Smoky Mountains, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Don't ask me if I've been there.
Oh,
whatever you do. Okay.
Well, that was a fun interview. Thank you so much for being with us today, Nancy.
See ya. Did Trisha say goodbye now?
Yeah. Wave nicely and smile, Jamie. Goodbye.
I have friends and a daughter-in-law that love the Smoky Mountains. And
Yeah.
so I am going there. I think I could probably take it off on my taxes, as
Oh, yeah.
research. Maybe I should
Absolutely.
do that before the series is over. But anyway, but so unfortunately, I had to do research online and talk to
Yeah.
them and find out more about the Smokies. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I needed to get out of the big city. I just needed to. So that's what I did.
That's nice. That's nice. And so you brought Erin from, you said St. Louis,
Uh-huh.
into the atmospheric and eerie Smoky Mountains.
Yes.
And she's on the heels of a serial killer. I mean, what more do you want in a book?
I don't know. Well, let me tell you something funny.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you're like this. Somebody told me a long time ago, don't read your reviews. Okay. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody says, hey, I wrote this review and I want you to read it, I'll do that. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I just try not to pay attention.
Sure.
But I stumbled across one the other day. It just made me laugh. She said, I love the book, but there should have been more dead bodies. So we had a certain number of people, I don't want to give too much away, but a certain number of people killed during the time that they're there,
Mm-hmm.
plus about 4 bodies they dug up. So how many bodies do you think you need before it's enough? I was like, well, did she even read the book? So anyway, yeah, it's
Can you
it's a bloodbath.
have too many dead bodies in a book?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know.
My husband will always say, well, how many people did you kill today? So, well, let's see. No, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, my husband always says, and please add literarily speaking so that people realize I'm not married to a psychopath.
Oh, listen, you know this as well as I do. If the police or the FBI or anybody looked at our search, what we search, we would be in prison before the day was out. I mean,
Oh, yeah. We're probably on a watch list somewhere,
I know.
I'm sure.
I had AI tell me they couldn't answer a question for me because it was illegal for me to ask that question. When you get chewed out by AI, you're in trouble. So.
You're not alone. I got chewed out by AI for apparently wanting to enact violence against somebody, and they gave me an 800 hotline number for mental health.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
I am dead
Oh my
serious. I have
Oh,
not
well,
called the 800 number yet. I think they have others
keep it
that probably need their
nearby.
time
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, you might share that with me later. So. Oh, it's so funny. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so with this one in Shattered Sanctuary, you have a murder investigation which is deeply psychological. And you've got Kaylee who's joined Aaron. What was it like bringing these two strong female leads together? And then how do you know so much about psychological stuff?
Well, I have problems, and I know. I actually love the whole idea of profiling.
Okay.
And I have it's a college level book on profiling.
Okay.
I can't get enough of it. It's like a puzzle. I want to understand why somebody gets to the point. Now, you and I both know there's a big spiritual part to
Oh,
this,
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know,
hmm
but psychologically, what are they thinking? Why do they do this? How do they excuse themselves from this? Is just something I really just have a passion about.
Yeah.
And so, thankfully, I have a retired profiler from the FBI. I'll just say a profiler. It's not I mean, it's shorter than behavioral analysis person or an
hmm
analyst. So a
hmm
profiler who helps me
Okay.
through a lot of things, and bringing those two together. People seem to really like. See, you thought I lost track there, didn't you? But I
I
really
did. I did.
didn't.
But you're right on it. I had you profiled wrong, Nancy.
Yeah, there you go. You thought she'd gone off on a tangent again. Anyway, uh, people really seem to like Kaylee, and I
hmm
don't know why, but I'm glad.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring her back because I kind of felt like her story was left open a little bit.
hmm
And Dead End, I think, was the third book in that series. And so it was just so cool to bring her back and use her as somebody who could help Aaron,
hmm
Aaron always wanted to work for the BAU.
Yeah.
But now that she's walked away from being a police officer and had to have counseling and basically had a breakdown.
Okay.
She can't. She knows that the FBI will not let her in.
Right.
So that's why she wrote the book, is so she can kind of live vicariously through the book, to be the person in the book that she knows she never will be able to be in real life.
Okay.
And so having Kaylee in her life, not only means a lot to her because of what she did, but also because of the love that she shows her, the lack of judgment. She's a Christian, and Erin knows that, but rather than preach at her, she just shows her love.
Yeah.
And it's what she needs. And it's the only person that she's been able to talk to about what she went through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that answer that question?
I think it does.
I can blither on for a while. It's just
well,
up to
no,
you. So,
that's fine.
okay.
That's fine. I
Okay.
can ask us. I can ask another follow-up question. We'll segue.
Could you?
We'll
All right.
segue really well.
All right.
So actually, this is a question that Trisha actually had written down for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to do my best Trisha imitation, which is really bad.
Please. Yes.
How do you balance creating spine-chilling tension? Well, I don't sound like Trisha at all.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it. All right.
If you had an English accent, it would be perfect.
English accent. Okay. How do you balance creating spine-chilling tension while keeping your stories clean and faith-driven?
I don't know. Should I use a Cockney accent?
Sure, answering Cockney.
I'm a big believer in the fact that you don't have to be graphic to get your point across. I mean, if you know how to use your words well, which you do, then if you can just engage the reader's imagination, you can actually create something more powerful than if you tried to over explain it or over describe it or get into things that I don't like, graphic things, and get your point across. It's just not necessary to do that.
Yeah.
So and I've said this before, but I'm a big believer in it, and I heard a lady say this at a mystery conference way towards the beginning of when I began to write. And she said mystery and suspense, both the same thing, are the battle of good against evil. And so if you see it that way, then you know that as a Christian, that's what we do anyway. And who better to talk about that battle than Christians? Because we understand it more than the world does. So does that answer that question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Have you ever found yourself, when you're writing a story and you're writing about that concept of good and evil, have you ever found yourself wrestling with something that's too dark? Like you're like you don't have to be graphic with it, but even psychologically or emotionally or spiritually, it's like, this is getting really dark. And how do you keep that balance?
I think, well, there's two things to that. First of all, you and I know when writing about serial killers that I don't want to say we're not telling the truth, but to most serial killers, there is something that drives them that we can't write about. Right. Most of them, there's a sexual part to it, and it's not something that we can write about.
No.
So there's that. So that's something I have to protect my own mind against.
Right.
How much research do I do? How much do I really want to know? Let's see, what was the rest of the question?
I was just wondering, like, when you go into those dark places, how do you keep that balance? Because know that's the background of so many serial killers. So how do you write about a serial killer without taking the reader into a place that's just too dark?
Well, I think you have to protect your reader.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to laying out a situation where they can get the gist of what you're trying to say. I mean, let's be honest. Somebody's killed in one of our books. That's not daisies and daffodils. That's serious.
Right.
But doing it kind of off scene so that, I mean, I don't describe what they look. Well, no, I take that back. I have somewhat, but I don't know. It's just, there's a line and we know it.
Yeah.
So I try not to ever cross that line. Now I did in Saturday Sanctuary, I can't even say the title of my own book. I did something that I used to say I would never do. And I did it. but it had to do with the death of a child.
Mm.
It's not the main part of the story,
Mm-hmm.
but it is an off story, backstory
Okay.
to explain why Aaron is so tortured by what happened
Mm.
the
Mm-hmm.
night that changed her life.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, but I did it, I hope, in a way because it actually came from a true incident that
Mm.
happened in St. Louis.
Okay. Okay.
So I used that, but I tried to do it in a way that wasn't too I don't want to say too emotional because that doesn't sound right. I keep using the word graphic and I don't want to continue to use that, but I did it in a way that I hope showed compassion
Mm.
and remorse
Mm-hmm.
for what happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. And I
usually I
think
say no children and no dogs. Or
I know. Can we throw cats in there too? Because I'm a cat
well, since
person.
I have one now, yes.
Okay.
She's
Thank
locked
you.
up right now because she has to get up and look into anytime there's a person on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I use my phone, she has to get between me and the phone. I think
Mm-hmm.
she thinks she's protecting me. So
Probably. Yeah.
yeah,
It
she's
has
a
nothing
cutie.
to do with her narcissistic personality at
No, nothing.
all.
No,
No.
no, no.
It is interesting though when you're writing about crime and you're writing about serial killers and things like that. As an author myself, and I think you'd probably agree with this, but I guess I'll ask if you agree with this. Is it difficult? I find it difficult to walk the line where I'm not sensationalizing something so much for entertainment that we're desensitizing people also to the tragedies that many families have experienced, unfortunately, in real life.
It's true, but it's a fact of life.
It is.
And our people in law enforcement go through, I can't even imagine.
Mm.
I used to say, before I grew a brain, that I'd missed my calling and I should have been a police officer
Okay.
when I was younger. I should have. But after learning what they do and what they look at and what they go through,
Mm-hmm.
I could never have done it.
Yeah.
And so I think knowing that this is a reality, that people are killed, that
Mm-hmm.
people do die,
Mm-hmm.
and to never write about it because, I mean, I've had people that are in law enforcement tell me how much they appreciate my books
Mm. That's neat.
because I'm trying to show at least a little bit of what they go through.
Yeah.
So sensationalizing something that's a reality of life, I hope I'm not doing that. Never my intention.
No, no, no. And I don't feel like you are either. I have heard that conversation come up in various crowds of readers where they're
Mhm.
concerned that um, serial killers aren't created just for entertainment. But I'm with you at the same time. It does also work as a really poignant analogy
Mhm.
between good and evil.
That's exactly it. And also that mystery writer, the other thing she said was that in the end, good always wins. And I
Mm,
like that. So we
yeah.
make sure that good wins.
Yep, yep. Have you ever had a reader reach out with a story of how one of your books impacted them in a way that that you didn't really expect?
Well, yes. I mean, the ones that really get to me are I should have done it years ago, but I didn't know I could. I have a sinner's prayer in the back of my books now.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
Somebody who reaches out and said, just this guy just got a hold of me the other day and said, I just want you to know I prayed that prayer.
Mm,
That meant a lot to me. But years ago, and two things, I want to go back to one thing you said. I used to write a lot of cozy mysteries and
mhm,
some Amish, and I had an Amish friend. When she found out I was going into more suspenseful books, unfriended me.
mm,
So I have had people who said, I like your cozies, but I'm not going with you here.
sure.
Okay, now, so I wanted to say that, but
Hmm.
also impact. When I was writing cozies, I wrote one where I included a character with Down syndrome
Hmm.
named Drew. And a gal wrote me and said, you just don't know how much that book means to me. My brother had Down syndrome
Mm.
and his name was Drew. And
Oh,
he passed away.
oh,
So she sent me a picture of Drew and we corresponded. And so things like that mean a lot to me.
yeah,
And the people who, and I know you get this too, but people who say, I'm closer to God now
yeah,
because of your book. I love it when people love my stories, but I love it more when somebody says that something I wrote made them closer to God. Because when we stand before God someday, he's not going to say, oh, let's see, you won this award and that award,
Right.
and
Right.
let's see, you sold this many books. And I really love that plot you had in such and such. He's going to say, here are the people that you impacted
Right.
for me through
Right.
your books. And that's really all that's important.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. All right, Nancy. Trisha has some heavy hitting questions that I have to ask you. Are you
Okay.
ready? These are deep.
No. Okay,
Okay.
go.
All right, here we go. If you could sit down for coffee with one of your characters, who would it be? See, I told you this was going to be hard.
I would say probably Kaylee Quinn.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
probably Kaylee
All right.
Quinn.
Why? Why Kaylee?
Well, I think she's just so much me.
Ah.
There's so much of me. And well, that sounds like I'm really in love with myself. I just realized that's very
Well,
narcissistic.
you can talk to yourself every day, Nancy, if you really want to.
Oh, that's terrible.
No.
Well, or Adrian Nightingale, because he's really cute. So that might be. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Just kind of depends on your mood. No,
Yes,
I think that's fair. No, I think though it makes sense, Kaylee. If she is a lot like you, you'd have a lot in common. So it would make sense.
Well,
that
she's the me I've never been. So
Oh.
the profiler. I think it's the profiler
Okay.
in her
Yep.
and her natural instinct.
Yeah.
That I would like to see more of or question her about, even
That's
though
cool.
I wrote her. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I like that. What's one book besides the Bible that you would take on a remote writing retreat in the mountains?
Well, it would have to be one by Jaime Jo Wright, wouldn't it?
I don't know. She's kind of boring.
No, I think she has great books.
Well,
I have one sitting over on my coffee table right now. So,
okay.
No, I moved it. It was there,
She,
but I know
out
where
of
it
sight,
is.
out of mind.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay, this next question will determine whether you and I can be friends for a long period of time or if this is short-lived.
Oh no.
Your writing fuel, is it coffee, tea, or something else?
Coffee?
Oh, praise Jesus.
Oh, good. Although I do like a cup of tea once in a while. But...
Oh, I do too. But coffee is just like it's pivotal in any relationship.
There's no way to write without coffee.
No,
it's not possible. No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get all the comments from the Pepper Bashams in the world who drink tea. Erica Betch, all those that are just like tea.
Or the readers who have sent me tea. I do drink it.
Yes,
I do like it.
I do too. Okay, here's a last big question.
Okay.
And then we'll go to the really last big question. So there's two more.
Okay.
What's your go-to writing soundtrack? Instrumental, moody suspense music, or is it like total silence?
No, I have to have music.
Really?
It's changed so much. I got into a country and western thing for a while.
Okay, wait a second. Hold on there. You're writing serial killers to country western. I lost my dog, my truck, my woman.
Hey, Keith Urban, Toby Keith. I'm sorry, they're cool.
Okay.
But usually it's instrumental. Some Enya, and I do have on my what's that called? I can't remember. Anyway, I have a channel that's just music, and Pandora. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
And I do have a movie theme.
Oh, okay.
For the little darker area times I'm writing, yes.
Yeah. Gets you in the mood.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's so interesting. I was talking to, who was it? Oh, Kara Putman. She writes to music all the time too. And I'm like, I can't write to music because I get so distracted by it. I start singing it or humming it or wondering
Since
what it
I
would sound
started
like
writing, I've always had to have music on. I don't know.
So interesting.
The silence is irritating to me. So I don't know why.
Well, you know what? Next time you write, just call me up and have me on a Zoom, and I'll just talk your ear off while you're writing, and you'll get irritated by something completely different. Like Nancy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So the last question here, and then we'll spare the readers from any more of our craziness, is what's next on the horizon for you after Shattered Sanctuary?
Well, finished writing. What is the name of the second one? I don't know. There's a doc on the cover. I can't remember the name of it right now. I don't pick my titles. So
all right, you
I'll
tell us a
finish
little
that
bit
one.
what it is, and I'll look up the title.
Okay, I don't know. It has to do with, yes, I do remember. It is somebody who is copying murders in the books of writers,
Ooh,
but different writers. And so very hard to profile somebody when you can't see their signature when they're
yeah,
using other people's signatures. I
okay.
think that starts with a D, but that's all I can
Well, it's
remember.
not up on Amazon yet, so I can't help you.
Ugh,
I don't have the title.
okay. Well, anyway, there's a doc on the cover, so
All right.
yeah.
Well, and it's another one with Erin as the
Dark
heroine.
Design. Dark Design. That's the
Ooh.
name. Yes.
Ooh, I like
With
that.
Aaron. Yeah.
With Erin. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Nancy, this has been an absolute blast. I mean, it might have been more fun with Trisha, but I'm sad she's sick, but I'm not sad that I had to stand in.
Yeah, I always enjoy talking to you, so
Yes.
that's good.
You have to
I'm
say
sure
that
I would have
because you're
enjoyed
talking to me
Trisha
right
too.
now.
I had to put that in there real quick.
Trisha, we love you.
We do. Get
We hope
better.
you're feeling better. And thanks for being with us today, Nancy. This was so much fun.
You bet. Thank you. I enjoy being with you, and I appreciate the time.